Hello and welcome back, and in this video we're going to be talking about alignment guide. SwiftUI offers two primary alignment options, horizontal and vertical. By default, the H stacks align views vertically while the V stack aligns them horizontally. While these standard alignments are generally sufficient for creating user interfaces, there are scenarios where you may need a greater flexibility in content alignment to build more intricate UIs. This is where Alignment Guide becomes invaluable. In SwiftUI, alignment guides provide a robust mechanism for influencing the alignments and the layouts of the views within the container. They empower you to precisely define how a view should align itself in relation to other views in the same container. Alignment guides prove especially beneficial when you're seeking a meticulous control over the layout of views within an H stack or V stack. In this video, we're going to be basically understanding about how to use alignment guides. Now, alignment guide serves basically customized alignment for SwiftUI, and it comes in two variations. So we have alignment guide, and alignment guide takes basically a value, which is basically a horizontal alignment, and a computed value. Now, this variant is used within a VStack. The horizontal alignment type offers the properties such as center, leading, or trailing. Now, this parameter represents the alignment we want to modify. And the computed value, which is the next parameter, the computed value is a closure that takes the current dimension of the view as the input and returns a CG float type representing the new value for the alignment. Okay, now similar to this, there is a variant for vertical alignment, and that variant is used within the H stack. And the vertical alignment type offers bottom center, first text baseline, last text baseline, and top values. Now this parameter represents the alignment we want to modify. And the computed value is basically, again, a closure that takes the current dimension of the view as input and returns a CG float type representing the new value for the alignment. Let's understand this with an example. So we're going to basically create an H stack. Inside the H stack, we're going to create a V stack first with spacing of 20 points. Next, we're going to create a text. This is going to read before. Let's set the font as large title. Frame with the max width as infinity. And the background as color.mint.gradient. Okay, let's go ahead and turn off the dark mode. There we go. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to create an H stack. And this H stack is going to define the alignment as top value. We're going to have an image with system name. Let's have two more images. All right, so we have these three images, and let's go ahead and set the font for all these as large title. Okay, now we're going to create another V stack underneath, which is going to represent after. Okay, so I'm going to copy this and paste it underneath, and we're going to call this after. Okay, so this is before and this is after. Let's go ahead and give this a different color. And we have basically the H stack with exactly same properties. Excuse me. Now, as you notice that there is nothing different between these two views. So let's go ahead and start creating the difference by exploring what else we can do here. Let's alter the alignment for the star in the after segment by setting a custom value for the alignment. Okay, so we're gonna choose the star.fill and set the alignment guide. All right, so the alignment guide we're gonna set is basically gonna be the first value, which is gonna be the current alignment. The dimension is basically the current value that we're gonna get. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna reach out to the dimension. It is a property that actually helps you get the other values. So we're gonna say get the top dimension and put basically subtract 10 points from that. And if you notice, the star has now basically it's now gone down. It's like 10 points offset that has been created in the after value. And if you notice here in the other example, the star is perfectly aligned. Okay, so by doing this, you can actually change the way the alignments are being set for individual properties or individual views, even though you are defining the alignment for the entire container. Okay, now in this instance, all the images are currently aligned at the top. However, we aim to adjust the position of the center image by moving it downward, and that's basically what we have achieved by defining this custom alignment guide. Now, alignment guide function is basically it works in a similar manner within VStack, with the distinction that the applied alignments are horizontal alignments. Okay, so let's go ahead and see it in the action by creating another example. So I'm gonna basically take this and create a new variable. Okay, so example, if you call example 1, it will basically render the exact same example that we just wrote. All right, so let's go ahead and create another example. Example 2, again, some view. Okay, and let's go ahead and call example 2 here. Now, this time we're gonna have once again an H stack. Inside the H stack, we're gonna have a V stack, and then we're gonna have a rectangle. Let's give this rectangle a frame with width as 150 points and height as 150 points, or actually 50 points. Okay, and then we're gonna set the foreground style. So foreground style is going to be orange dot gradient, and let's set the alignment guide for this guy. So now we are inside the V stack, so we're gonna basically use horizontal alignment guide, and we're gonna align this as center. Now for the computed value, we actually get the dimension, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna say dimension horizontal alignment dot. So let's go ahead and set the trailing and move this basically a little bit from the trailing side. Okay, so we're not gonna set anything here, but I'm going to show you how by changing different alignment guides, you're going to get a different feel, different elements are going to be aligned differently. So we're going to copy this and paste it right underneath. Now let's give this basically a different color, mint. Okay, now once again we're going to use the center, and this time around we're going to have the center as the second property, basically the dimension that we are setting the alignment guide to. So now what we are doing is we are providing essentially earlier we were using the initial value for the alignment guide as center, but then we were actually computing the trailing property, setting the trailing value for the new alignment guide inside the computer property as trailing. And here we are actually setting it as center. So you can see that both of these views are exactly the same, but the way the values are computed, it actually creates this staggered rectangle effect. Okay, now let's go ahead and copy this one more time, and we're gonna set another alignment, and we're gonna leave this one as center, but let's go ahead and give this a different color, maybe a pink, and we're gonna set that this one is gonna be leading. And as you can see now that we have different alignment applied, although everything else is basically same except the color for these rectangles. The only thing that is different is how they are aligned. Now this last one is aligned in the leading edge. Okay, so if you can imagine, there is a line right here in the middle. Okay, the view itself is aligned at the trailing edge for this on this line. Okay, and we can actually draw that line by having a Z stack. Okay, and then let's say a rectangle with width and height. So frame width height. Okay, so the width is going to be 1, all right, and height is going to be maybe 500. So this is your line. And now let's go ahead and paste that example. And if you notice that basically our views are aligned based on the newly computed alignment guide properties. So for the first one, it is the trailing edge where we want to align this view, and you can see is basically aligned from the trailing end of the center. And then the second one is basically aligned with the center value, with the center of the view, and that's why it's aligned with the center of the view. And the last one is basically aligned at the leading edge, and we have the leading edge aligned perfectly. So this is how you can actually control the alignment or modify the alignment for different views even after the alignment has been defined for the entire container. Now another good thing about alignment is alignments are animatable properties. So we can leverage the power of animation and change the alignments. Okay, so let's go ahead and modify this example where we are going to basically just start with center and start all these alignments at the center. And when user taps on the view, it actually creates this stagger step effect. Okay, so all we gotta do is let me copy this example, and I'm gonna put it in example 3. Okay, and all we're gonna do is we're gonna create a state property. So state private var animate. Okay, so we are going to now animate these alignment changes. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to basically define how we are changing this dimension in the computer side using animate state. So we're going to say animate. If it is true, then align it to the center. So we're gonna say center. Okay, otherwise align it to the trailing. Okay, and same thing we're gonna do for the others. Okay, so let's go ahead and set this for the others. So this one is going to be center, so we can leave this one as is because we are not changing this one. This one stays as is, and this one actually becomes leading. Okay, so as you can see now that all these three are aligned basically at the center line, and then we're gonna set a on tap. So let's first set the animation. So animation we're gonna set as the newly introduced one, maybe a snappy. Okay, and the value that we is gonna basically observe or monitor is gonna be the animate. That is basically the value that's gonna change and gonna cause the animation to trigger. And then we're gonna add on tap gesture on this one, and we're gonna simply toggle the animate. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this out. So we're gonna tap, and as you can see now that we have this staggered effect created. Okay, you can choose other options for the animation as well. So for example, you can have like, bouncy, so kind of like, a slide effect. You would notice like, this block actually goes a little bit out and then comes back in. If you notice on this edge, you're gonna see a little bit of gap. So let's try it again. There we go. All right. Okay, so as you can see now that how alignment can basically help you not only set the different alignment to actually properly align your properties or your views or subviews correctly inside your view, inside the main container view, but they also animatable. Now we have flexibility to go beyond the predefined SwiftUI alignments. Now it is possible to craft our own custom alignment. So let's go ahead and create an example for a fresh vertical alignment of our own. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna create an extension to vertical alignment. Okay, and this is gonna be a custom alignment. So we're gonna create a private enum first called custom alignment. And we're gonna give this alignment ID. This is gonna be of like type alignment ID, and we're gonna have a static function defined here with the default value, which is like required, and we're gonna return from the context the value that we're gonna apply. So we're gonna apply it from the bottom, the vertical alignment of the bottom. That's what we're gonna apply. So we're gonna return that as the default value. Then we're gonna have static let custom alignment equal vertical alignment, and passing in our custom alignment type. Okay, so this actually creates a new entry for the custom alignment. Now we can use this custom alignment inside of view. Okay, so let's go ahead and create yet another example, and this one is going to be basically using this custom alignment guide that we have created. Okay, so I'm going to create private var example for some view. Okay, and let's go ahead and use this example for. Now we're going to need some state properties. So first let's go ahead and set a state property, private var selected index. And this alignment is basically to show you how you can create a custom selector just purely using the alignment guide. Okay, so we're gonna basically have number of courses offered by DevTechie, and we're gonna just use the course categories. Okay, so these are the course categories, and now we are ready to write our example. So we're gonna have a VStack. Okay, this VStack is going to have a text which is going to say, what are these? These are DevTechie courses. Okay, and let's set the font as large title. All right, I'm gonna wait for this to show up, and once it shows up, then we're gonna continue with the example. Okay, so there we have the text showing up. That means our view is ready to go, so we can start building our view. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to set the alignment. Now remember that alignment we created was for vertical alignment. Vertical alignment applies on the horizontal stack, so that value that we have created is now available for us to use inside the H stack. Okay, so we're going to use that, and let's go ahead and create a trailing closure And now we can have an image. Okay, this system image is going to have arrow dot forward. Okay, so it's a forward pointing arrow, and then we're gonna have a VStack. This VStack is going to have the alignment as leading. So all the content basically is on the leading edge. Okay, now we're gonna apply a for each view, and we can loop over all the courses, get their indices. We're gonna ID them. Each course is gonna ID them by itself, and we're gonna get the index for each course. Okay, so we're gonna select if the index is equal to the selected index. Okay, then this is where we want to point our arrow, and the way we're gonna point the arrow is by setting the alignment guide. So we're gonna simply say text courses at the index. It's gonna basically show the course, right? And then we're gonna set the alignment guide, okay, for the custom alignment, and we're gonna change the dimension of the vertical alignment dot center with -10. Okay, so this is basically the way our alignment pointer is gonna point. Now we're gonna have an else statement, and this else statement is going to basically display all the other courses. So courses index, and let's go ahead and set the on tap for all the others. Okay, so on tap with animation, we wanna basically change the selected index to index. Okay, now all these are basically now pointing at which one is which is the one that you're actually choosing to apply. Okay, now let's see, like, first one has a bit of a problem, so let's go ahead and change this. So now we are basically pointing at the top of the view. Okay, so we can actually, let's go ahead and apply +10 maybe to properly align, like, where the arrow needs to show up. There we go. So now we have, like, basically the index pointing at, like, exactly at the center of the view. It needs to be tweaked a little bit, maybe 5 is actually better. Okay, there we go. So as you can see that we have a custom pointer that we have created essentially just by using this alignment guide. Okay, now instead of using this pointer view and, like, showing this pointer view, you can use something else. For example, you can have, like, a capsule or something. So let's go ahead and try a capsule. All right, and that is quite big, so let's go ahead and set the frame. That's too big. Let's say 5, and let's also set the width as 5. Okay, let's see. Okay, so yeah, now it's a circle, so let's go ahead and set the width as 15. Okay, and we can hide this. Okay, so now we have basically a different kind of pointer that we are using to point at, like, the currently selected value. Okay, so as you can see, we are tapping and our view is automatically adjusting and pointing to the right value. Okay, so this is what you can do basically, this and much more that you can do basically with the alignment guide. Now alignment guide is an advanced topic, so experiment with it, and you will actually learn to understand a bit more as how to use it for your own scenarios. Okay, all right, with that we have reached the end of this video, and thanks again for watching.